Right, okay. Questions from cyberspace. What's this? The Twitter name? Moon Girl. Moongirl01. So presumably there's quite a lot of other moon girls to come. I don't know. She's banking on setting a trend. She's otherwise known as Annabelle, Annabelle says, "Oh, I'd love. Can I try and do Annabelle's voice? I don't know. Oh, I'd love to ask Bill Oddie how many species of birds he's spotted in his garden, and which is his favourite garden visitor." Well, okay, well, first of all, I've got to say that keeping a garden list is a very good thing. Keep a list of all the species you see, and it's just something which focuses you and makes you spend that little bit more time in the garden, looking through the window, and here's the next point, looking up. Because most garden listers, as they're called, would count any bird that they see, not so much in the garden, but from the garden. So you're allowed to count anything that flies over, and you're also allowed to count things which you only hear. For example, they might be at night, right? See, I've heard tawny owls lots of times in this garden, you know. That's, by the way, male and female. Replying, not to it to woo from one bird, it's two birds. But I've heard them lots of times, but I've never actually seen one. But I know they're here. And equally, I've heard geese flying over at night here as well. And the best bird I've ever heard flying over at night was an oyster catcher, which should have been at the coast somewhere, but was cutting across London, just called a couple of times. And the birds flying over, now that can be incredibly productive. Keep looking up. And especially if you hear a bit of noise, maybe crows or gulls making a fuss, there might be a bird of prey up there. Now, this is boasting, but I have, in the time I've been here, it is 20 odd years, seen eight different species of birds of prey over the garden. When this lady Annabelle asked me that question, it made me jot them all down. Kestrel, buzzard, honey buzzard, sparrowhawk, peregrine, hobby, osprey, yes, and red kite. So that's 8 different species of bird of prey seen more or less standing here. We just hear some noise up there and say, oh, raptor, that's the posh word. So you can count, as I say, from the garden, count all those, and if I do that, the answer to the question, how many species have I seen, is 55. I might have missed one or two, but it's 55. We're definitely over 50. And the favourite garden visitor, this has to be, let me see, there's a lot of, I was going to say, the obvious one is robin. But it's too obvious really, isn't it? I no disrespect to it, but I've got robins around here that will come and take mealworms out of my hand eventually. Not right now, but they will. I'm going to say wren actually, because, and the reason I'm going to nominate wren as my favourite garden visitor is that in my garden at least, it's built so many ridiculous nests in wonderfully silly places, hidden away in the ivy, up in an old bird box, and if you come over here, don't fall over this excellent bird food. See this? Now, this was not meant to be used, but try telling that to the wren, and a couple of years ago the wren produced several youngsters out of the hole in that strange little thing there with all these artificial things around. Had some bells to get up in the morning. There you go. Right. Do you want to do another one?